Let us try to solve the exercise number 5 in the part B of Python lab. In this exercise, we are supposed to create a student table containing register number, name, and marks in three subjects, either using the MySQL or SQLite, and perform the three operations, namely to accept the details of a student and store it in the database, to display the details of all the students, and then delete a particular student record using the register number. So let us first create the table, that is student table, and then we are going to write the Python. I'm going to use the MySQL, which is readily available because it is required by you in the sixth semester, as well as it is required by the BCA student. So it will be there in the lab. So just search for exam, and you will get exam control. Click on this, and you are going to get the exam control. So exam control, I have just opened it two times. And in the exam control, open the two things. One is the Apache. You require the web server, that is the Apache web server. So you need this Apache. So click on this. You will see start here. So like the one that you see over here, you're going to see the button start here. Once you click on that start, you will see some port being assigned to the Apache, and the next option, this option itself will change as stop. So if you click again, the server will stop. In the same way, start the MySQL server by clicking on the start. This will be start initially, and when you click on it, it's going to start, and you get an option for stop. Okay, so when you complete your exercise, see to it that you close the MySQL by clicking on stop here, as well as stop the Apache by clicking on stop here. This you do it at the end, not at the beginning. So I have already started the MySQL, and the Apache. So I'm going to go to the administrative part of MySQL. So I'm going to go over here and click on the administrative part. So let me click on the admin part here. And when you click on this admin part, this is what you're going to get it. I won't wait for it to come. So there are two ways in which you can create a database. One is by just clicking on this new here, or you can click on the databases and then click on the blank cell over here, that is the blank text box over here, and then type the name of the table, name of the database, and then create it. Now let's look at the question again. What they have said in the question is you are supposed to create a student table. That is the only thing that they have said. So I'm going to assume that the name of the particular database will be student DB. Now I already have student DB for some reason, maybe because I created it. Let me see whether I have it. So if you already have it, you may get okay, where is it, student DB. If you already have it, you will when you try to create it, you will get an error message saying that database already exists. Yeah, now I don't know, I might have created it before. Let me try to create it. So you will see what happens if you try to create the database again. So what is the solution? If it is already there, what is the solution? Make it as student DB1 or student DB2, student DB3, something like that. If it's already there, give some other name. It's not required that you have to give the same name, and they have not mentioned here what is the name of the database. So you can create any database. Let me click on create. It will take some time, and you will see that the database is created. You will also see that here highlighted one that indicates that the student DB has been created for you. Then the next challenge is to create a table, which is they have already said this is student table. Remember, do not put these spaces because it's not that it's not going to take it. You yourself will be in trouble if you put the spaces for the table names. So nothing will happen to the MySQL or Python, but you will find it difficult for you to access that particular table. Now, what I've typed here is, be careful, there are two T is there. One is a student, that T is there, and the other one is the table. Okay, so if you're getting it confused, you just say stdtb or something of that type. So there are two TB are there. Okay, sorry about this. This is because you won't see this kind of thing unless you open the Edge browser, because Microsoft want to do something more than what I expect it to do. So you just see this part, student table. Now, before you click on create, count how many rows are required. So first one is you need a register number, first one, name, and marks in 3. Altogether, you need 5 fields in that particular table. So I'm going to make this one as 5. You can delete it and then type 5 and then click on create. So if you do that thing, you will notice that if a table is created, let's start with the field name that they have specified here. The field name is register number. This is the first field name. So let's Control C and Control V here. So this is the register number. Let it be integer. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to make it as primary key. It's not really required, but I'm going to make it as primary key. So under index, you just click here, index, and then say if it is going beyond the screen, you will see a scroll bar here. Okay. Somewhere around you will see this scroll bar. If it is going beyond the screen, just drag the scroll bar and you will see a lot of options are available. Not all the options are really required. I'm going to go for the option which is marked as index. I'm going to go with this option. So under index, I'm going to select it as primary key. That's it. You don't have to do anything. It will show you that it is going to maintain this and that. Just click go, because it's not really required to know what MySQL is going to do with the index primary key. It's going to say it's going to maintain the indices using some way. Let it maintain it. So it well and good. Let's go ahead with the second field, and what you have in the second field is the name. So I'm going to just copy it, Control C, and then I'm going to just paste it name. And you know very well, name is a varchar from your Oracle. You know that the name is varchar. I'm going to make it as 100 characters. Definitely during the examination, you won't type such a lengthy name. And let's look at what else is there in the next three field. And next three field, you have 3 marks. I'm going to write them as M1, M2, M3. So M1 is my first mark, and M2 is my second mark, and M3 will be my third mark. And all of them, let it be integer. I don't want to complicate the matter. So you have the register number, which is integer, but only difference here with the register number is I have made it as primary key, just because I have learnt about the databases, and I assume that register number is the primary key. Then I have the name with the varchar 100, and M1, M2, M3 all are integers. Go here, go down, and scroll. Either you can scroll it, or you can use the mouse wheel. And in any case, you can either see the preview of SQL. This is the preview of SQL, or you can click on save. I'm going to go with the save because I just want it to be the database to be saved. So I click on save. You will notice you will have to wait for some time, and if there is no error, you will see that the database is created, the student table is created, and these are the fields which will be available over here. That's it. You created the database. Now the next thing is you must ensure that you have the right packages with you in your Python. So go to the prompt here and type ideally and open the ideally. Okay. In this ideally, try to write this statement here, import, and then say MySQL dot connector. You can just say MySQL also, but because you know this MySQL connector will be there. If you get nothing, that means it is working fine. If it simply goes to the next line, you get like this. Suppose, say, let's just assume that you type import MySQL. Remember, you can just stop at MySQL, but I started with connector. So anyhow, as I was talking, I started with the connector. Now I just say connector D, which is not there. Okay, it is if it is not there in your database, in your package list, this is what you're going to get. Okay, so when you type, let's just assume that you type this MySQL connector and you get this thing that module not found. I assume that this is my connector. If you get this story, when you type MySQL import MySQL dot connector, you get a error message saying that module is not found. In that case, you have to install the MySQL connector. How to do that thing is just go here and type CMD. You need to have a connection with the internet. So type go to the command prompt. This is what you get there in the command prompt. And in the command prompt, type pip install. So this is package installer. So pip install and then say MySQL dash connector. I already have it. You notice that I didn't get the error when I typed the MySQL.connector. I didn't got any error. That means it is already there in my machine, but I'm still going to install it. And you'll see what happens if I try to install it again. Then I'm going to say type Python. Remember, you need to have internet connection, otherwise it's not going to work. So you have this MySQL dash connector that dash Python. Just press enter, and you will see that it's going to download 14 MB file, and it will show you the progress. In my case, it's going to say that the requirement is already satisfied because I have already installed my SQL before the starting of the video. So it just say requirement is already satisfied because it is already there. In your case, it will show you a progress bar, 14 MB. It's going to download some 14.5 something. It's going to download that, and it will say that it is installed. Okay, so that is what you have to do it. This is you are doing it only one time. You don't have to do it every time. So that means then you come to this point, and after installing, you come to this point, and then just type import. I think I will stop with the import, and I'm going to say MySQL. Okay, and it should import that MySQL. So that means it is there. I think I will go with the MySQL connector. Anyhow, it's going to come MySQL connector. If you say it's going to come. Now let's come back to this file here. And in the ideally, let's go to the file, and I'm going to say that I'm going to click on this new file here. So this is the file and new file, so that you're going to create a new blank file. Let me zoom out for you, and then we are going to type the code here. So let's go ahead and let's start with the import statement. Definitely we need let me I'm going to just pause for a while, and I'm going to change the font size so that you don't need to watch me doing that. So let me complete. So I've just increased the font size so that you can see it properly. And I'm going to import the, as usual, MySQL dot connector. Okay. So MySQL dot connector. So this is what is the import statement that I have typed before also. And then I'm going to create a few variable. First one is I need a connector. So I'm going to say connector is equal to MySQL. Now during the examination, if you find it difficult to write this statement, after MySQL what is going to come and so on, just go to this ideally, and then start typing MySQL, put a dot, and press Control and space together. Okay, you get the option connector, select it, then type the next one, and that is the connector. Okay, this is what you are supposed to type it, and then just copy it, Control C to copy it from here, and paste it to the other side. Now it's not over yet. Then you have to write a few things. First one is the host. You must remember these things over there, and that these are the attributes that you have to provide the values. Host is the local host, where your local host means on this machine. It is your MySQL is hosted on this particular machine. That is the meaning of saying localhost, comma, then the user, the the default user is the root in small case, comma, password is not there. So don't worry, password is not there. So password is blank. Then you need to give the name of the database. So database to which you want to connect, because MySQL may host many databases. So you have to say database is equal to the name of the database that you have just created. So name of the database that you created is not the student table. This is the student DB. This is the database that you have just created. Okay, so you can also see that thing over here, that is the student DB. That's the database. You will not connect to the table, rather you just connect to the database. So you are going to go over here and you are going to say that the name of the database is student DB. This is it. And then very important thing, you have to say that this is buffer. So the cursor that you are going to use is a buffered cursor. Sometime if you don't use this, you will get a buffered. Where is that D gone now? So this is buffered is equal to true. So this means to say that your cursor that you are going to use, you know what is the cursor because you studied about the databases. So this cursor that you are going to use is the buffered cursor. So that is the meaning of it. So you just write equal to true. And finally, remember 2 is not in double quotes because it is a boolean. You don't write true in this true in double quotes. It is a keyword by itself. So this is what you're going to say. Host is localhost, user is equal to root, password is not there. This is true in our lab. If the students are watching in the from the other colleges, you may have a password that is set. In that case, they're going to tell you what is the password of the user and so on and so forth. But in my case, it is just blank password. And then I have the database is studentdb and it is buffered. So that is it. You have done it. Don't do anything. Just to save this file, click on file and then go to save, and then save wherever you really want to save this particular thing. I'm going to just save it in my document. Remember, you are not supposed to save it in my document. You are supposed to save it in D drive, some location, and I'm going to say this is exercise B5. So something. If you want, you type .py. Generally, it will add the py extension for you. So you will notice over here that it has already added the extension exercise b5.py. So this is what it does. So after this, you just run this one. Okay. During the exam also, just run this one. You should not get any error message. It should simply stop it. That's it. It's not going to, because you have not done anything. If you get an error message at this point, then you have missed a spelling in this, or you are not able to connect to the database. So that's the first part. Now, I told you that it is using the buffered cursor. So let's get the cursor. My variable that I'm using is the connection. So I'm going to say connection dot get the cursor. CURSOR. Okay, so this is the cursor that I'm going to get it. Now for all these three things over here, that is to accept add a student details, display the student details and delete the student details, I'm going to create different functions or modules, whatever you want to call them as. So how do you create a function? You know very well. You just define, and I'm going to, first one is to add. To add a new student, you need a register number of the student, name of the student, marks in first subject, comma, marks in second subject, comma, marks in third subject. Put a colon, press enter. So this is done. Then before you add it, we want to check whether the register number is already there. I've taken it as a primary key, register number as a primary key, and you know very well, if the primary key is repeated, the database will not accept it. So I'm going to first try to accept the student. So I will try to read the record. So how do you read the record? Select star from the table. So what is the name of the table that you have used is student table. There are two T's are there in between, so be careful with that. So student table, okay, where I'm going to say where register number is equal to percentage %d. Okay, this is the parameter that I'm going to pass to the SQL. And what is the parameter? So parameter that I'm going to pass is I'm going to supply a tuple there. So, and I'm going to say this is the register number that I'm supplying. From where did I get the register number? So when you call this method, you are supplying that register number. Same register number I am going to replace here. So this register number will be replaced here. So in other words, what you are going to say is select star from student table where register number is equal to the supplied register number. So suppose if I supply the register number 123, then that 123 will be replaced here. So this is what it's going to look like. Let me run this uh, statement, that is SQL statement. So I'm going to say cursor.execute. Okay, so cursor.execute to execute my cursor. SQL is my string that I have created, and for that I have to supply the parameter. So I'm going to say the parameter that I'm going to supply is this tuple, that is the D. In this tuple I have the tuple over here, and I'm supplying that tuple there. So done. Then I'm going to say print, and if it is there, let me check that thing. Okay, uh, let me check that. Then I'm going to say, okay, if this cursor, let me check this. If this cursor, and I'm going to count the number of rows, row count. So when I execute this query, if I find that there are any records are there, so when I execute select star from the student table where the register number is equal to, let's say 123. Suppose if I say register number is 123, and if there is already a record in the table, there is already a record with the number 123, then it will return a record to me. And what I'm going to do is after execution, I'm going to count how many rows it has sent. If there are no matching record, definitely the number of record count will be 0, or the row count will be 0. If there is a record, the row count will be 1. Suppose if the row count is greater than 0, that means if there is already a record with that register number, then that means I have already inserted a student with the same register number before. So I'm going to give a message to the user saying that student is already existing. So I'm going to say print, and I'm going to put /n, you know very well /n, and I'm going to put a star to highlight it. This is just to highlight it. So let's say 3 star, and I'm going to say student details is already okay, present in DB. Okay, so let me do that. So this is star to just make it highlight it. Okay, it's not really required that you have to do it. So then I'm going to say else. What to do? Else I will insert it. So I will write actual SQL statement, and that is what is actual SQL statement? Insert into student table, and I'm going to say values. First one is the register number. Okay, you generally do that, but here I'm going to supply the parameter. So first parameter is the register number. Second one is the name, and you know very well name has to be written in single quote, and it is not a decimal, it is a string, so it is percentage %yes. Third one is the marks, which is integer. Fourth one is the marks in second subject, which is integer. And the fifth one is the marks in the third subject, which is again an integer. So this is my insert statement, and I'm going to supply the parameters, and I'm going to create a tuple with the register number, tuple with the name, tuple with the marks 1, marks 2, marks 3. Now during the execution, these marks which you have supplied as a parameter to this thing, I have repeated here. So during the execution, the register number will be replaced here, the name will replace here, the marks will replace this one, this marks will replace this, and so on and so forth. So this one is going to replace this one. So they are going to be merged, and then you're going to execute them. To execute, you know very well, go to the connection and then you say execute. Connection dot execute, and what is the thing that you need to execute is the SQL statement, that is this SQL statement, also with the parameter. So execute this, and you're going to say connection dot commit, so that your date the records are permanently saved. You know very well, commit and roll back. Hope you are familiar with that story in your databases. So if everything is fine, I'm going to put a message. So you have to tell the user that the student details are saved. I'm going to say details saved. Okay. Otherwise, the person doesn't know what happened. Okay, so they get confused as to what is the status, whether you saved it or whether you didn't saved it. They are not very sure about it. This is for inserting the record. So you inserted the record. Then let's come back to the next one. Let me make it in full screen. Okay. So you have inserted it. Then the second method is, if you look at the second method, what's the second method? To display the records. Where is my IDL gone? To display the record, I'm going to use the word display. Remember, here display all the records. So that is what they said, display all the records. So I don't need any parameters here. I'm going to just say display, DISPLAY. Okay, display. That is the spelling of display. And what to do? Okay, you just go through the all the records and then execute. Then print one after the other. Maybe using a for loop. So let's go and execute the cursor. So cursor dot execute. I'm going to execute the SQL statement. You know how do you select all the records? So you say select star from student student table, student table. So this is the student table. You execute this query. Okay, and just check whether there is any record. So you are going to say cursor dot row count. So row count. So this is to just check whether there are any records are there. If there is no record, you are going to say that there is nothing is there in your database. So let me just type pass here, and then I'm going to come back. If there is if the record count is 0, then the message that I'm going to give is I'm going to say to the user that there is no records are there. So this is the else part. I'm going to type the else part first, and I'm going to say print, and I'm going to say /n with the star, and I'm going to say no records found. Okay, no records found. Let me make it as found, and let me close that. So this is if the record count is equal to 0 or less than 0, no records are found. If the count is really greater than 0, then what to do? Then I'm going to go through all the records and then do it. So let me fetch all the rows which are got. So you know very well, when you type select star, you will get all the records. So I'm going to store them in a variable called as rows. So I'm going to say rows is equal to, this is my cursor that I have executed. This is the cursor. Remember, cursor is the one that I created here, cursor dot. I'm going to say cursor dot. I'm going to say I want all the records, so I'm going to say fetch all. So I'm going to fetch all the records from the table, and I say fetch all. So I got all the records from the database. Then I use a for loop to print it. So before I print it, I'm going to print the individual records. I'm going to just say that these are the records which are there. So I'm going to say star, the general way how you are going to say. This time I don't need, I think, the star, student details. Okay, maybe slash n, so that it's going to come in the next line. So I think that one star is already, this print will already print it in the next line. That next line will automatically, otherwise 2 lines will skip. So you have student details, and then I'm going to use this for loop for a variable r in the rows, in not those, in the rows. So what is that I'm doing is I fetch one individual row from this rows. There will be many records. When you run this particular fetch all, you will get many records from the database. You'll see many records being fetched from the database. So you have many records being fetched from the database. So what you're going to do is you're going to fetch one of them, and you are going to store it in R. So all of them are, many rows are there, out of which you take one row and then do something with it. And what is that? To do something with that one is you just print it. So as simple as that. So you take one, and I'm going to just say print. Let me use dash dash dash. Okay, so one line, so that not this dash, let me use this simple dash. So enough. Okay, one dash line, so that it looks great. Otherwise you don't see it like a, what to say, a record. So first one is the register number, then colon. Okay, I'm going to, I think it is better I'm going to use f here, so that I can fix it easily. I can write an expression here and then say this is the register number. I can directly write the register number because it is part of the row there. So this is the row. I got one row from the my table, and from that I'm going to take the first field. So what is this I have done here is, let me complete it and then tell you. See, when you fetch the record from the database, when you execute this fetch all, you are going to get a number of records from the database. So you are familiar with that. So a table contains rows and columns, rows and columns. Now I'm interested in one of the row. So this is the first row, and that first row is in the for loop. This first row is being taken up by R. So out of all the rows, you take one row. Okay, so this, within this one row, you will have to pick up the first cell. So this first cell is, this is R here. So you notice where is my mouse pointer. So let me make it as close so that I can see. This is R here. Okay, so this is R. So this is the first row. So how do you write? This is R of 0. So this is the, R of 0. Let me type it rather than doing it. So this is R of 0, first row. What is the second row? This is R of second cell, R of 1. So this one is R of 0. This one will be R of 1 and R of 2 and R of 3 and so on and so forth. So these are the individual cells that I'm trying to extract it. I'm not going to type it again and again and again. I know how to use the Control C and Control V. So I copy paste it. In the second one, what is the second thing that I'm supposed to do is I have what do I have is the name of the student. So name of the student. Okay, so name, and this is the second field. Again, let me press enter, and I'm going to paste it here, and this one is the marks in first subject, so I'm going to take it as M1 for short, and this is the third row, and I'm going just to paste it, copy this one, because 3 times I have to paste the same thing. Control C, and I'm going to just press Control V. This is marks in the second subject, which is the third, that is the fourth cell. Remember, we have started with the 0, so this is going to be the next cell, and this is not marks 3. Marks 3 is the, what is that, next cell, that is R1, R2, R3. So all of them will be the columns of the database. So this, if you look at this one, the first column is this first column and first row. This is R0. Next one is R1. Next one is R1. Next one will be R2, and so on. Okay, so you got the idea what I'm trying to do here. So this is done. Let me go over here. Okay. This is for the, what is this? This is for the display. Let's look at the next one. What is the next thing that I'm supposed to delete a particular record using the register number? So next option that I have is, let me go over here. And remember, the when you type anything in the Python, the indentation matters most. Suppose if you are bugged up with this one, or if you say that, oh, what is this, we have to write it like this and so on. So just thank God that you are not writing COBOL programs. Okay, just as an exercise, just to see how the COBOL programs are written. So there is one programming language called as COBOL, and see how it is written, and then you will appreciate that this Python is far better than that. Okay, so let's go with the delete option. So did I start everything in small case? I think A was in capital. Let me make it A in a small case also, okay, because I started everything in small case. This is add, this is a display. That's it. I just changed the capitalization, so this, let it be A, because everything is in small case I wrote. So just one, I don't want to write it in capitals. So it's simple as that. Let's say I want to delete a register number. What to do with this? So you have to write a SQL statement, you know very well. So how do you delete? What is the SQL statement? So delete from the table. So delete from student table. From a student table. So this is a student table where, okay, register number is equal to %d. So this is what you have. And what is the parameter that I am going to supply is the register reg number. So this is the parameter that I'm going to supply, and then I'm going to say cursor dot execute the SQL statement along with the parameter. So I got this one. Okay. After that, I'm going to say connection dot commit, so that this is permanently deleted. So then I'm going to say, where is my cursor gone? Just a minute. Where is my cursor? Okay, so connection dot commit. Done with it. Okay, and then I'm going to start with the if statement. So if so during the execution, remember it's going to return, if it has deleted one record, it's going to say 1, it's going to return 1. If it has deleted 10 records, it's going to say 10, and so on. It's going to give you how many records it has deleted from the database. That is going to give the count of records that are deleted. So if for some good reason, if it has deleted, and if the cursor dot row count, that is the number of rows affected in this case, is greater than 0. So if a row count is greater than 0, I'm going to say print, And this, I think this bracket is anyhow, I started with the bracket, so I won't tell you the secret. Okay, so I'm going to say record deleted, and maybe star star star. Okay, this will look nice, that's why I'm doing it. Okay, the star, not that I'm crazy about stars, but just it looks nice. If the row count is less than 0, so if that means if no records are affected, that means something has gone wrong, and I don't know what has gone wrong. So I'm going to just give a message to the user saying that I could not delete the record. So could not delete the record. Okay. So this is what I'm going to write to the user. So this is done. So these are the three modules that I've written. One is the add, to add the register number, display to display the all the records, and delete to delete all the records. Done with this. Let's start with the while loop, and this is our main program now. So while the condition is true, we are going to do something. What is that? First of all, we are going to print the menu there. So the first option, let me start with the /en. First option is what is the first option? Add new student. This is the first option. /n, the second option, display all student, or display student details. Let's say display student details. Okay, done. Third option, delete a student. Fourth option, and this is my favorite option, is exit. Okay, done. You have done that one, and I'm going to accept the choice that the user. So I'm giving, first one is to add, second one is to display, third one is to, and so on. So I'm going to ask the user, what is your choice? And this choice is an integer number, so I'm going to write the integer of whatever input I'm getting it. So input, inside that I'm going to say enter your choice. Okay, and an arrow and a space. Remember, that's very important. You put one extra space there. So you say input enter your choice. So then with that, so we are going to ask the user enter your choice. The user will give the choice. Suppose if the choice given by the user is 1. So this is the choice number 1. That means we have to add the student into the new student into the database. How do I do that? I'm going to first get all the details. So I'm going to say register number. By the way, for the insert statement, I think I'll just go back with the insert statement. I just remember one thing. Okay, I've done it here. So you notice this one I just remember because I have to accept it. See, when you have the string, you know very well you have to put it in a single quote. So that's I think I thought I forgot to put the single quote. You know very well whenever you are inserting a string or a text, it has to be enclosed within a single quote. So I just thought I forgot on that. Okay, but anyhow, I remembered that. Okay, let's start with the register number. I assume that the register number is an integer one, but in your case, register number is not integer. You say U05DG and so on and so forth. But let's not complicate the matter. We will go with the as register number because we are writing the examination here. So I'm going to say register number, okay, and a space. Okay, done with this. I got the register number. Then I'm not going to go and waste my time in that. So I use Control C and Control V. Second one is what is it? The name. So name. Oh, sorry. I think this was not really required, but the name is that is not integer. So name is name. So I'm going to just say name. So done. Name and maybe one space. You got the name there. Press enter, Control V, and what do I have is marks 1. So if you want, you can write marks marks 1. I'm going to use M1 for marks 1. So simple as that. And this one also has to be M1. Actually, M1. I'm going to copy this one because I will repeat it for M2, M3. So Control C to copy and go to the next line and Control V to paste. So this is going to be my second marks and this is the marks number 2. Go to the end of the line, press enter, Control V to paste it, and this is marks 3. And this is marks 3. Done with it. Marks 3, marks 3. So I got all the parameters that are required: the name of the student, register number, name, and all the 3 marks. Then I'm going to call this add method, and I'm going to supply the register number, the name, the first marks M1, the second marks M2, and the third marks M3. So in other words, I'm going to call this method, which is this method, the first method. Where is this first method? Add method. I'm going to call this add method. That is done with this. Let me press enter and press a backspace. Elif, so that is else if the choice is 2. What is that I'm supposed to do? It is a very simple case. I have to call this display method. So that is simple as that. The choice is 2 is display the student. So display the student is this method, display this student. You're going to call this module display student. Done with it. Let's go with the next choice. What is the next choice? If. Okay, choice is 3. So done with it. What is that we are supposed to do? It is choice 3 is delete. Okay, done. So to delete you need a register number, and I'm going to copy it from here. Control C, and I'll press enter and Control V. Done with it. After that, I'm going to call this module, and what is this module? Is a delete module. So I'm going to say delete the register number. Done with it. My favorite one, LF, the choice happens to be 4. So that is going to be most interesting one. If the choice happens to be 4, what are you going to do is you're going to say we are exiting. So I'm going to say print, and I'm going to say /n star, and I'm going to say exiting. Okay, star, and I'm going to say exiting. And what if somebody types 5, 6, 7, 8 and so on? Remember, it's not over. Sorry. If you just say that, it's not going to. You have to break the while loop. Remember, if you don't break this while loop, it will come back. So when I say break, I am actually breaking the while loop. And then if the person has typed any other number, I'm going to say wrong choice. So print, and I'm going to say /n star. I am typing that star because I feel that it looks great. Okay, when in the output it looks slightly great, but you have to type extra thing. That's it. Okay, but that's enough. So this is what your while loop is doing. Remember, always put the tab. This is your while loop ending here. This is your if statement. You notice all of them are in the same tab separation. Now again, if you I'm repeating it. If you find that typing the code is in Python is very difficult, then please go and read a book on COBOL, or watch the video in COBOL, and then you will definitely say that this is far better than COBOL. Okay. Let us close the cursor, and let us what is this? Let us close the connection. So this is important, because once you open the cursor, you have to release the cursor. So you open the cursor here, okay, connection.cursor. That means you have opened that particular cursor, and here also you got the connection. At the end, when you come out of this while loop, remember, just press enter to say that the while loop has ended. So when you come out of this while loop, you just close the cursor and the connection. That's it. Control S to save it. If you don't know the shortcut, Control S to save it. Okay, and run this one. The keyboard shortcut is F5. So just run this thing. So run it. If you don't have any error, this is what you're going to get. I have one error here. I'm going to just exit this. And what is the error that you see that exiting? It looks great. Okay, that is why I did that. Okay, what is that I have done here is I just forgot to type /n here. So I forgot to type /n here. So let me see if there are any other errors. So you got the choice now. I think I didn't put. Let me correct it. Okay, so what is this? For number 4 to exit, I have not put one space here. So just make it beautiful. Okay, where is our menu? Where is the menu gone? So one space was required here. So now it's going to look great. Run it and you have it beautiful looking menu. My first choice is to add a student and register number is 101. Name is my name itself. So let me say I got 99 in first subject, 98 in second subject, 97 in third subject. I press enter and you have a problem there. What is the, oh sorry, this R number. So I see this register number instead of reg number I type, let's go to the module here. Where is that? When I call this module, where is this module I called? So here, this was a reg number and I got the suggestion also there that did you mean that it is a reg number? So this maybe typo there. So this was reg number and I'm supposed to type reg number. Okay, let's try it one more time. So failure is not the end point. So let's start with the first one, is number 101 and my name. And you are already familiar. I got a very high percentage now. And then I will get one more error message. MySQL connection object has no attribute to execute. Okay, so exe, what is the method I got? Execute. Hey, am I trying it on connection? So let's sorry about that. Did I say connection? See this particular story. Where is this execute story event? Okay, so cursor.execute execute. Okay, so what is the thing that it is saying is that is did I close that thing? Okay, let me show that thing. It said it doesn't have a method called as execute. I got the cursor here. Okay, and then it is saying that I don't have the method called as execute. So let's see what is the error. Let me check the spelling. So we were here and what we notice is it just says a connection. If you notice that connection, and unfortunately this connection is not, we are executing on the cursor. Again, I type here, I have typed it properly, cursor.execute, but somewhere when I came here, I wrote a typo saying that it is a connection. You can't execute it on the connection. You have to execute on the cursor. So let me make that correction. Control S to save it, and maybe I'm going to close the this prompt here ideally, so that it's going to come in a neat one. I'm going to just execute it now. So let's start with the story of this. This time I'm not going to say, but I'm going to type. Okay. So maybe I will reduce my marks because it's not working. So I will reduce my marks with the, and what you notice is when I reduce the marks, I'm able to add it to the database. Just to get the confirmation that it has added to the database, let's go to the this Internet Explorer or the, what is this, Edge here, and then click on this browse here. Second option, see to it that you are in the student table, not on the other one. If otherwise, click on the student table first. That you must ensure that you are in the student table here. You will notice that the student table is here. And let's click on this browse. When you click on this browse, whatever that I have just typed, those marks must appear here. So you notice that it's there in the database. Let me add one more record. So I'm going to go over here and say I'm going to add one more record. So 102, and let me add Ravi here, and let me give him higher marks than me, and let's say 99, and definitely Ravi's record is saved. Now if you go over here and if you click on the browse again, you notice that even the Ravi's record is added over here. So it is there in the database. So let's go with the, let me double click and make it in full screen. Let me try to display the record. So the display record, the choice is 2. I press 2, and you notice that first record, student detail, first record is mine, second record is Ravi. Let me delete Ravi. So I took keep Ravi. I'm going to go with the third choice, delete Ravi with the register number 102, and record is deleted. And if you go here to the database and then click on the browser, you notice that Ravi's record will be deleted. Now if I display the record back, I will get the what is this, delete. If I delete all the records, let's say even my record is deleted, so I deleted my record itself, and there is nothing in the database. Let me add one record. So how do you add one record? So let's say 101 1151, let's say 151, and the name, say what is this, I can say, okay, Sita, some name, 90 79, enter 89 and 99. Okay, Sita is there. Let me just display it for you. Okay, Sita is there, and if you look at the browse here, and if you look at here, Sita record will be there. Now what if I try to add the same record? So I'm going to just press 1 here, and I will add the same register number 151. This is the Sita's register number, you notice that, and I'm going to say this is taken by Geeta, and any marks you type here, this should not be stored. Okay, so I must say student details are already existing. See that star is making a lot of sense here. So that's why I said when you put this star, even though it looks bad here, but in the output it looks great. Okay, so got the choice. I did everything, and if I say 2 here, one it's going to show that thing. Delete, you can delete it and press 4 here to exit. That's all in this video. Thank you for your interest. We will meet again in the next video. Thank you.